Hi everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome to the S Factor Studio. I'm here with a quick project share. I finally made some flowers. Yay! I'm using this Crafter's Companion decorative metal die. It just says flowers. These are small. I got these at Tuesday morning. They were $6.49 and I got 2 sets of them. So I'm very happy with how they came out, and I'm going to tell you why this works for me. So I'm always about quick and easy. I want the fastest way to get from point A to point B. And I've been watching you lovely ladies make flowers. I'm going to put in the description box. Ida Martinez has a tutorial who's Created to Create. Carolyn, who is Teatime N Dolls, she has a tutorial. Then I saw I Dream by Tanya on Instagram. That's my friend Tanya, and she made these beautiful roses following the tutorial by Carolyn, who is Teatime N Dolls. And so I've gone back and forth with deciding whether or not to make the flowers. I do like purchasing the flowers. They're a little bit pricey, but again, it's quicker and easier for me to just have the flower already made. But watching these ladies, I'm so inspired, and I wanted to make flowers. I did attempt trying to make the roses once, and it came out nice, but just for me, there are certain things that either I don't have the time or I don't want to take the time to do. And you know, certain things I have to work harder at. Of course, if I did them and made them more regularly, of course it would become easier, but I'm that person. I think of mindless crafting, right, Ebony? And I saw Lindsay, who is the Frugal Crafter, talking about frictionless crafting. And so, like I said, I need the fastest way to get from point A to point B. Monica, scrapping for my boys. She is the one who kind of pushed me over the edge. She's the one that got me to say, okay, I want to try it. So Monica does use dies. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the link to her video in the description box as well. It's kind of a long video. She did a live, and she showed how she makes her flowers. But go through her channel, because she's got a great channel, and she goes through how she uses her dies. So I watched the live. And she did 2 things, and these were the 2 things that made me say, okay, I'm gonna try. So actually 3 things. She does use a die, and for me, that's the quickest thing, to just take it and run it through my die cutting machine. I am gonna experiment with the Cricut later. So she uses the die. The way she shaped her flower, so that was it for me, because again, I don't really have the time, and I don't want to take the time having to either shape the flower or even making, those beautiful, the rose centers, the buds. I just don't have time for that, and I don't move fast enough to do that. So the way she shaped her flower, and then her metal centers. Okay, so I bought this die set. And really, I'm going to show you my process, but go ahead and look at it, watch the tutorials, of the links that I put in the description box, because they are great tutorials. So Monica does use 5. If I'm remembering correctly, it was 2 large, 2 medium, and a small. I like that because I kind of like to stay with odd numbers, especially when layering. And for me, with this die, the 5, for me, it created just enough dimension. So the back is still flat enough, which that's another thing of, the way she did her flowers. I like that this is flat because it's easier for me to adhere. And then the dimension, comes up. So I was surprised that these 5 pieces, so I'm just putting them in my hand real quick to show, you know, these 5 flat pieces, right, turn into, let me see, like this turns into this just from how she shaped the petals. All right, so what I did was I cut out the 5, and this die set does come with these are the 5 petals. It has 2, like a large and I guess a small, or a large and a medium, 5 petals, and then this one is the 4 petals. So that's why I bought the second set. This way I can have 2 large and 2 of the medium, and I won't have to keep, you know, having to run them through the die cutting machine so often. So I did distress, I used some distress ink, and this is not a necessary step, but for me, I like that extra color. I can kind of see the difference when I do put it and when I don't put it on. So very, very quickly, and I'm not especially gentle, or, you know, I'm not being especially careful, just getting some color on. And again, well, not again, but you can see the color, you know, the variation of the color. These stamps, not these stamps, I keep saying stamps. These dies, they also emboss, but I haven't played around with my Big Shot sandwich yet to figure out, you know, I need another shim or another sheet of paper in there to get it to cut and emboss at the same time. All right. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I will also say, I was forgetting to mention Raquel, who is Paints and Glitter. She used something that actually helped me. So when Monica made her flowers and I watched, she uses tweezers, and I did try it that way, but it didn't work for me, and I know most likely it was the tweezers I was using. So when I tried it, I kind of got discouraged and I put it aside. So then I saw Raquel Paints and Glitter, and I will link her video as well. She used, and to be honest, I didn't even watch her whole video. Once I saw what she used, I was like, yes! And then I came back to try mine. So these, what do you call them? Needle nose pliers. These are the jewelry making pliers, and they're the rounded, round tip needle nose. And so you see, you know, they're rounded all the way around. This for me works better. And again, I always say, I believe that with crafting, it's about your process. It's about what works for you. It's about what feels good in your hands. I couldn't do it with the tweezers. It frustrated me. I know it was my tweezers. This, again, the easiest, the least amount of steps and the easiest way to get from point A to point B. So she took the flower, used her tweezers, put it in the center, and folded it around. For me, the tool is actually doing the work for me because it's rounded. And I'm not especially careful with this because I don't mind if the petals get a little bit crinkled, as long as I don't rip them. But you put it in the center and you do this for all the petals. But again, it's quick. I'm trying to be a little bit slower and more deliberate just so you guys could see what I'm doing and not rip the paper and have to start over. Okay, and you do this for all of these, and really it's, you can see it really is quick. Now with the smaller, the top 3 layers, the smaller layers, after I wrap the petals around, I bring them up and I squish them together, which if you look, that would be like the beginning of making the rosebud. But you know, I don't want to have to go ahead and glue everything together, so I just do this to kind of shape it, and I don't even take that long. And so if you are having an issue making those rosebuds, this is another way that might help you to quickly, you know, get that curvature to make the bud. All right. What was that? I must have had another piece of paper. I did. And I'm sorry. I chit chat before and I chit chat after, but while I'm crafting, I forget to say anything because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. I normally, when I craft, I'm normally it's normally very quiet, and I'm normally alone and it's quiet. Unless my husband is in here on the game. All right, so that's that. You cut them, you curve them around your tweezer or your plier, and then you adhere. And I do use the 3-in-1 for this because it does grab and it does dry rather quickly, but it also gives me it still moves around a bit. So if I have to adjust the petals, and you know, the way you've seen so many other times, you stagger the petal or offset the petal, you know, you make sure that you can see all of them. You don't stack the petals on top of each other, you offset them. And if you look, you see the coloring. I have glue strings. You can see the difference in the color from distressing it. I tell you guys over and over again, I'm horrible with, like, I'm horribly sloppy with the glue. So here I use this. I don't use this for shaping. This, in fact, is actually what I use on my scoreboard. But I'm using this here just so that I could get as little adhesive as possible on my fingers. So I'm just pushing it down so that it'll adhere. And you can see, like, it's still wet, so it's still moving a little bit. And again, offset. You just keep offsetting the petals. Now with my smallest one here, it's 4 petals. So when I put it on, some of the petals will be offset, but then it'll be covering some of the other petals, which is fine because after it dries, you can shape it. For this last one in the center, I do use a little bit of hot glue because I need to make sure that this center one does not move or shift around, and I'll show you why in a second. This way I could adhere the piece for the middle of the flower. Now once it's dried, first of all, you see, I was gonna say boom, you got your flower. Look at that already. Look at that. Once you have your flower, then you can just go to town, you know, embellishing however you wish to embellish it. So what I do is the center 4, I do curve that because I'm trying to create a well for what I'm going to put in the center. So I just take these and I kind of fold them back, and this way whatever petal it may be covering, I'm also, you know, I'm also moving it out of the way so that so that you can see all the petals. But really I'm doing it to create this the little well in the center, and I'll show you why in a second. So I fold them like that, and then the bottom 2 layers, I fold just those bottom two. And again, for me, the tool does it all, and I'm just, you know, folding at the tip. And for me, this, you know, I can get the look that I want. For me, you know, it's quick. So I fold down the bottom two layers, and then that middle layer, and then the two center layers, I just leave them as they are. So this was the other thing, Monica and her metals. I just bought a metal kit from her. She sells these metal kits, and I'm super excited. So she uses these metal stamens. I do not have that. So what I used is a bead cap, and I found these bead caps. I've had these for a while. I got them at Walmart. And so I'm going to use the E6000, and actually I'm going to try to bend that a little bit more. Alright, so the E6000, I put a little bit in the center. I do try to put some hot glue on the edge of this, just on one side. You know, I don't want it to shift around. However, you know, since there's a little well there, it really doesn't move all that much. But how stinking cute. Look at that. Look at that. Now, of course, the E6000 needs to dry. So then what I do, and you guys have seen this, I'm sure, a bunch of times. I have to glue my little bling back on. The Nouveau drops. The Nouveau drops, that you can use them as, I've seen people use them as centers of flowers. Of course, you can put pearls, all the typical things to make the flower center. I fill that bead cap, and I like to use the Nouveau because it gives it, you know, another little element of color. And then I took, I took one of these Swarovski crystals that I love to use, and put it in the center of that. Am I in frame? Okay. And push it down and just let that dry. After it dries, then, you know, I'll use either more Nouveau drops, or I'll use my liquid pearls, I'll use stickles, I'll use glitter to go ahead and decorate them. But how easy, how super simple, simple, easy, and I think it's very pretty. So these are the ones I did. I put the bead cap, and here I used the green Nouveau drops, and then around the edges I used some stickles, and then I sprinkled with some ultrafine glitter. This one here, I used the green Nouveau drops around the edges. I used a smaller bead cap, which is actually covered up, but it's fine. I still use the bead cap because it's easier for me to fill it, to get the center the way I want it to look, and it gives it, you know, a little bit of dimension. And then I used these microfine beads, micro beads they're called. This is by Recollections. Is it Recollections? Where is it? Recollections. And I get these at Michael's. So I have those colors, and then I have these colors. And so that's that. And I don't know if you can see the glitter. I love it. So, oh, and this one here, I used a lighter weight paper, And it's a lot more delicate, but I think it came out pretty. Around the edges I used the liquid pearls, and then I sprinkled with extra fine glitter. And this paper is actually, it's a paper made in Costa Rica. It's made with banana leaves. The paper itself is made with banana leaves. So it's very light and delicate. And I thought that came out very pretty. And then this one here, I used that those embossed sheets that Hobby Lobby has, and I went over it with stickles. So I think even the plain one is pretty. I even like this one. All right, so that's my project share. I want to thank you ladies. I want to thank you ladies who have been making your flowers for the inspiration. And Monica, thank you so much for sharing your process, because you were the one that encouraged me and kind of, you know, pushed me to actually go ahead and try making it. And Raquel, thank you for sharing your process as well, for sharing the tool that you use, because this actually, it really works for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I hope this inspires you to go use your dies and the tools that you have. God bless, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.